What's going on, y'all? So listen. What's going on, y'all? So we are back again for another episode review of American Horror Story New York Season 11, Episode 9, Requiem, 1981-1987. Girl, now bitch, was I expected to be sitting up in here and being all up in my feelings? Let me tell y'all something. I would tell y'all what happened earlier today. Like, I was feeling great, and then something just literally just got me dead up in my feelings because you know how when you think something is something but it's really not, and you kind of hyped yourself up to believe, baby, it got me all fucked up. And then I come up in here and look at this goddamn show. I said, bitch, I am a mess, okay? And you want to know what it is also? Because if you've ever taken the time out to actually read and to look at the things that happened around the time that HIV and AIDS came about and the way people were treated back then because they did not have any knowledge of what was going on, and the way these gay men especially were treated because they were already treated like shit as it is, and then to have this unknown illness, this unknown virus come through, you don't know how you can spread it, you don't know if it's contagious, you can't cure it, you know what I'm saying? And the way that they was treated was so messed up. I'm thankful that things have changed today and people's ideas and reaction to the virus has changed because some people still kind of ignorant to it, but for the most part people realize we can still go about and do your daily life or whatever and be okay. You know what I'm saying? Still living with this virus. You're not contagious like that unless you're spreading it through blood or, unprotected sex with a person that has it or, intravenous drug use or, you passing it through the womb or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's not back then, bitch, they used to think, girl, if you hutch on a bitch, baby, you got it. You know what I'm saying? It was so crazy. What is the show? I think it was either on Showtime or HBO. Either was called A Normal Heart, The Normal Heart, or A Normal Heart. I think it was one of those titles. Look it up. That was a really good show. That was a really good movie, baby. When I tell you, I was a fucking mess. I was a puddle. I was a puddle, baby. I love looking at shit that teach me stuff and that'll have me in my feelings because that means it's sinking in, and that's what it did. I did not want to come to look at no American Horror Story. Baby, I wanted to be scared. Girl, we got a life lesson. And I guess the lesson is, because I know a lot of people feel like, well, this wasn't really no horror story or whatever. But yeah, it is. Especially back then, girl, it's almost like the way, especially looking at this episode, it's almost damn near again how COVID came about. Baby, we were shook. We were fucking scared the last couple of years, okay? People didn't know 2 years ago what the hell was going on. People was isolated. People was scared to touch people. People was scared to breathe on people. You know what I'm saying? People was just scared to do them, and it was similar to this situation. And just like, HIV ain't gone, COVID ain't gone either. But, let's just get into the episode. The episode started off, Theo did die. They are really at his funeral. That beautiful specimen of a man had passed away. And I said, oh my God. Then somebody was like, girl, that was the Deers. I said, bitch. Listen, I did not connect the dots, maybe because I was looking at it I don't remember when I had did the episode review for last week's episode. But y'all, whoever, girl, the lady that told me that, put that comment down, you are absolutely correct because I had forgot that, in the beginning when Hannah and them was trying to figure out what was going on with this disease and they thought it was coming from the deers and the tick bites and all that stuff, and it was all the deers that was on that island, they had to get rid of all of the deers. And so this is basically a representation of the deers being dead, meaning that these were the first victims. The deers or whatever, the animals were the first victim, and these are also the first human victims, I guess. I'm not going to say necessarily, but in this context, okay? I said, oh my goodness. Theo up in that casket, Adam standing there crying, talking about something, and we still can't do nothing. They still don't, the police, they still ain't gonna tell us what happened. And I'm sitting here like, what Patrick gonna do? Because Patrick and Gino was there, and Patrick was like, listen, baby, they done froze me out. Okay, I don't know. They not saying nothing. And, ooh, girl. And, you know, you got on the other side, Sam over there looking all sad. I said, bitch, what? You should feel guilty, bitch, because the last thing we seen Theo, your ass fucking drugged him. Your ass fucking had him out there in that goddamn forest hanging up like he was being crucified. Like, what the fuck? You should feel bad, you dirty bastard. And then that motherfucker had the nerve to pass the hell out. I said, get your ass up. You always want attention. It is not about you, Samuel. It is about Theo and him going home to the Lord. Okay? Girl, next thing you know, we see Sam. Girl, what's that? Oh, that's just a shadow. Ashley, get your ass out there. Anyway, we see Sam. He wake up in the hospital and you know, he trying to pour the IV out, and then the nurse come over and it's Billy. I said, oh, wait a minute. Now that's when I knew he was hallucinating and it was a dream, and you know, stuff was just going on. Because then Billy came through. He was like, wait a minute, you a nurse? He said, how you gonna tell me if I'm a nurse or not? You never really asked. You ain't asked nothing, to be quite honest. I said, oops, that is how Sam was. And then Theo came over and he was the doctor, okay? Baby, this whole scene basically was just Sam being met with his past, showing his present, and showing how he got to where he got to, and showing how fucking, you know, sometimes people don't realize how superficial they are, and don't realize the pain and the hurt that they are causing other people, and don't realize that the reason why they're hurting other people is because they're in pain. And that was the situation with Sam, okay? And sometimes some people just assholes. And I felt like Sam was really both of that, but then we really got to see what it was, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of felt sorry for Sam, but, you know, it's understandable. I get it. You know, Theo, taking him from room to room, you know, and, we get one room and we go to, the first room was this guy named Danny. Danny was the first guy that they opened up their relationship to, right? And then when he first saw him, he was like, oh my God, he used to be so beautiful. What happened to him? And I'm sitting here like, you see where his mind frame is at? And this is what I keep on talking about. And see, this has been an ongoing conversation that has been coming up periodically within the gay community about how, you know, a lot, I ain't gonna say a lot, but most, they just be real superficial sometimes. You know, it's all about looks. It's all about the body, the muscles, and, you know, being fit, being trim, not having fat on them or whatever for some of them, you know what I'm saying? And you see Sam, he's still, you're literally in the hospital dying, and you still talking about the first thing that you could say is, he used to be so beautiful. And I get it because he looked different, but literally I would have been like, oh my God, what's going on with him? That's what I would have said. Come to find out, he was a writer. You know, Sam knew he was a writer, knew that he wrote this one man play. He was even invited to go see it, but he never went. But Danny thought that he didn't go see it, or thought that he went to see it, and he just didn't want to tell him that it was bad. So that's why he never mentioned it. Come to find out, Sam just never went, okay? Because Sam didn't care about nobody but himself. Meanwhile, we move on from the next room, you know, and we go to Stewart. Remember Stewart? Stewart was the one that opened the picked up that phone call and got locked up in the cage early on in the season. Yeah, they was like, you know, he got the same illness that you had, and he had already had it before he met you, and he just didn't know. And they just trying to understand why is it that he's decaying so rapidly, right? Then the next room we go to, it's actually Sam. Sam was like, what the fuck? And it was like, yeah, this is you. Mind you, he had a ventilator in his mouth or whatever. And, you know, he was just decaying. And that's what Theo had to say. Bitch, you decaying on the inside worse than what you are on the outside. Okay? Your, this disease, aced and fucking fuck your body up so goddamn bad that your immune system is practically non-existent. You got fucking pneumonia and everything else that's going on inside yourself. And that's what some people don't realize. It's not necessarily, the virus itself that takes you out. It's the shit that you can contract because the virus weakened the fuck out of your immune system, okay? And so therefore you can get anything, a simple fucking common cold that probably will last a regular person probably a week could kill a person with no immune system, you know what I'm saying? And so, pneumonia, that's what he got. That's like typical, unfortunately, for somebody in that condition. And I was just like, damn, Sam, look at you. It was like, he asked, I'm pretty sure people come up there to see me or whatever. How did I get like this? It was like, people care about me. Theo said, no. It's a difference between people, because he was like, people love me. That's what it is. But then when you look at the shit on the table, whatever, everything is rotten. It's decaying. The flowers is old. They ain't been changed out. That means ain't nobody came up there to see him. Now you up here looking at Danny and talking about he used to be so beautiful or whatever. And even Theo said, yeah, because you remember how you used to like to, collect beautiful things and all that shit. But yeah, the people around you, those beautiful things, they don't want to be around you looking like that. So therefore, no, it's a difference between being celebrated and actually being loved. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, wow, that's crazy. And that's a word right there. That is a word right there, baby. When that ventilator came out his goddamn mouth and he started throwing up that shit, I said, oh my God, what is this? What is this? Samuel, what's going on? And then next thing you know, he passed out. And he was like, take me back to my room. He was like, I am. Okay. Girl, he passed out. He opened up. He turned on. When he wake back up, baby, he inside that cage. I said, what is going on inside the cage in the black room? Black dark room or whatever. Girl, next thing you know, here come Henry in his biker outfit and everything. I said, wait a minute, Henry, you look kind of good. I said, okay, sir. That's a look on you. You used to get down back in the day. Henry probably was up in the bars all the time, bitch. He just gives me those teas looking at that outfit. You wore well, boy. But basically, he got himself in the cage just like he put everybody else in the cage. And Henry was just putting all his shit out there, bitch. Okay, this is what you was going through or whatever. Now let's get back to the, and then, wait a minute. When he was going through all of his pain and shit that he be doing to the people, he talking about some, it's pain or whatever that people like. And I inflict pain because it's trying to get rid of their pain. I said, excuse me? No. Okay, if I'm already in pain, don't give me no more pain. You know what I'm saying? But I get it. That's why some people have certain disorders. I'm not going to, put that out there for a trigger warning or whatever, because they're in pain. So therefore they do painful things to themselves and all that shit and to others because they're in pain. And the whole thing is pain, and not having access to actually talk to somebody to get that shit under control. You know what I'm saying? This motherfucker had the gadgets or whatever that he was using. And then did y'all see that hook? I said, now, excuse me, the hook had a ball gag, like it looked like a hook, like you would hook a fish or like a big ass shark or some shit. I said, I know that ain't going up somebody's ass like that. Y'all be playing around too much, okay? You girls be doing a lot. And I'm talking about girls and guys because I be seeing a lot of shit. And I be like, how do you do that? I just would never think to do some shit like that. The shit that I've seen, I be like, oh, bitch, it just make me scared. It just make me scared. I be like, oh my God, maybe I'm kind of like PG when it comes to sex because some of y'all are like out there. And it's like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? But anyway, girl, we see somebody that was on the somebody that was on a table, and it was his daddy. We see Big Daddy go over there and he started whooping him till he started bleeding or whatever. And he was like, stop it, stop it. And we realized, he had daddy issues just like everybody else. He got daddy issues. So obviously daddy must have did something to him. Next thing you know, it goes back a little bit. Oh, bitch, where did it go back to? It went through that. Next thing you know, after we get through that, we go back to, I think it went to something else. But we get to see how he really was at one point. But I know he was on the beach and he was back at Fire Island, right? And then he was seeing Big Daddy. And then he was running from Big Daddy. And Mr. Henry said, bitch, you can't outrun him, okay? And he just gave up, bitch, and Big Daddy embraced him or whatever. And so he was trying to see who Big Daddy was. I'm looking at the body type, and then when he finally took the mask off of Big Daddy, it was this Adonis looking dude. I said, excuse me, who was this young boy? That is not Big Daddy. Okay, Big Daddy done got decreased it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? He still look decent, but he just got a little decreased it. What I'm going to assume is that, oh yeah, he had showed him his boss, his first boss on Wall Street. You know, they treated him real shitty because I'm pretty sure they probably knew that he was gay. And you know, they took advantage and they wouldn't promote him or whatever. You know, baby, they put them nipple clamps on that motherfucker. First of all, I was really confused. I said, sir, you are about to get tortured and your body is betraying you because your nipples are hard as shit, sir. First of all, you work out. I can see the pecs, all right? But when I saw them nipples was like this. And then they put them goddamn clips on there and yanked them bitches off. I said, oh my God, I ain't need to see that. But then, like I said, he was on the beach and Big Daddy was, I guess, somebody from his past. I'm going to assume it was probably his first love. His first love or his first real boyfriend or whatever, because, you know, they had an emotional kind of thing, or at least he did. And then they wound up kissing. And then him was like, see, I'm proud of you because you finally embraced it or whatever, you know. And next thing you know, we see Theo and some other deers, a.k.a. other fallen soldiers. And they're walking down the beach. And I was like, oh, Theo. Oh, Theo. Theo Smeals. Why did it have to be you? You know, it should have been Sam first, bitch. That's who fucking should have been. And next thing you know, we see Henry with a urn. I said, so wait a minute, Sam died and he got cremated and you just scattering him out on Fire Island. I said, oh, bye Sam, R.I.P. Next thing you know, it's 1987. We see Gino coming into a hospital. Now, at first, baby, you know, Ryan Murphy wants to be so goddamn dramatic to put a point out there to show how motherfuckers just really did not care. They really did not care, and they were scared of this illness because they did not know what it was and how you can contract it. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it was to that extreme, but I'm pretty sure they had them people up in there. Yeah, they did. They had them people dying, them patients up in there dying as if they were not human. You know, not checking on them regularly, not feeding them regularly, even though some of them probably couldn't really eat anyway. Not, you know, just making sure they were cleaned or, you know, their surroundings was okay. It was almost as if they were less than human just because, one, they're gay, and two, they have this disease that we don't know what it's about. He comes on that floor and it looked like a fucking desert. I said, where the fuck the people at? It was dirty up there. It was dingy. Old bed sheets over here and everything. I was just like, oh my God, where's the people at? You know, you saw all the files. You saw all the files that was up on there just piling up. I said, I feel like those was a whole bunch of patients that came in and they left in the grave, you know. Gino goes into the room. I kind of felt as soon as we saw Gino, honestly, I thought we was going to see Gino first. I thought it was going to be Gino that took the left after this, but it was Patrick. Patrick was up in that bed. He got all the lesions on him. Gino just looking like, damn, so they ain't feed you? Ain't no water up in here? Your IV drip is empty. The bag is empty and everything. And he's just like, what the hell? Girl, when Gino turned around, not Gino, but when Patrick turned around and he opened up his eyes, I said, goddamn. Instantly, as soon as I saw his ass, I just knew that he was blind. I said, fuck. Fuck, you know. So he was trying to get him some stuff. Next thing you know, a doctor in a hazmat suit comes in and was trying to get Gino out of there because he had some news to tell Patrick. And Patrick was like, just let him stay because he ain't got no more family right about now. That's right there. Let this man stay, you know. And the doctor wouldn't sit down. Okay, you heard Gino say, you can have a seat. He was like, fuck that. Okay. He said, listen, So after looking at them scans, we see that your retinas have detached in the back, and that means that the blindness that you are experiencing right now will be permanent. And then here comes Gino. Well, what you mean permanent? Can't you do some surgery to reattach? Because I mean, if it's detached, all you gotta do is reattach. You know, sometimes I be thinking shit like that, but I be like, okay, if it was really that simple, they could have did that shit. I'm pretty sure they would have went through it and did that shit or whatever. I be thinking that about a lot of stuff, okay? Like, it'd be so easy if it's simple. 1 + 1 = 2. Like, just put the shit back together. It don't work like that. And I was like, oh, this ain't gonna work. But I said his immune system so goddamn low and probably hell non-existent. It's just not gonna be viable and doesn't make sense because he was literally at the end, and this is 1987, right? Mind you, we started in 1981. All of this shit took place over 10 years. I mean, oh, bitch, math. Over 6 years, bitch. I said, oh my God, this is crazy. This is fucking crazy. I am so glad I just was not around to see somebody go through that because that'll fuck me up so bad. Like, my uncle's passing, and he didn't even pass from AIDS. He passed from alcoholism and sepsis. Because his body he got sepsis at the end, and he just died in the hospital. Just like that. Just like that. And I am so glad I was not there. Because when I tell you, I'm already fucked up from him passing, but I would be even more fucked up. Okay? I probably wouldn't even be able to be doing the shit that I'm doing today. You know what I'm saying? So just imagine seeing your loved one going through something like that, and there is absolutely nothing that can be done about it. Absolutely nothing. You literally got to sit there and watch them just wither away, And that's what Gino did. That's what Gino did. I tell you this, Gino loved that man. And I don't know if it's something like, I just don't understand because we are all the same. We are all humans. We all want love and affection or whatever. But it's just so crazy how when you get heterosexual relationships, the difference between a heterosexual relationship and gay or lesbian relationship is totally different, but also the same. And what I would say in most parts is different because of the speed. Like, it's not so, I mean, we see people in heterosexual relationships, and I may be a little bit ignorant about this, but we see people in heterosexual relationship, they move at a certain speed. But baby, it's like in gay and lesbian relationship, girl, we on kid number 3 months in. You know? Baby, we done met already, like just about every time. We done met a week ago and we are already married. You know what I'm saying? We are already booed up, married, calling boyfriend, girlfriends, bitch, not me, but it just happens that way. Because I'm saying that because when Gino left, baby, Gino gave him some applesauce. He could barely chew that applesauce, okay? I said, oh my God. And then you gave him the cinnamon one. It probably burnt the shit out the back of his throat. But you just wanted him to have some little flavor. And when he was there, whatever, Gino had left. Patrick went to sleep or whatever. And you know the little button that to page the nurse or whatever, or to release some drugs and all that stuff, it fell on the floor. So Patrick was just screaming out for help, but wasn't nobody there to help because, he at the end. He gets off the bed, falls onto the floor, and then he just rolling around, just patting around because he can't see. And he tripped actually on the fucking thing that he was looking for. Okay, that's what made him fall on the floor for real. And then he just crawled over there to the chair, his wheelchair. He rolls out there into the hallway. And he was like, hello, anybody there? And he couldn't see nobody. First of all, it's dark anyway. He probably seeing darkness anyway. Meanwhile, he turned, and then all of a sudden he was like, who's there? Because he heard something. And then all of a sudden I seen the light. I said, oh, bitch, he finna go into the light. I said, Patrick, don't go into the light. Come back. Don't go into the light. Girl, he went up into that light because he heard Barbara ass. I said, God damn it, bitch. Barbara said, bitch, I'm finna hunt you till the end of your days. I said, you know what? You got the right to do that. So, girl, I ain't even mad. Mind you, she's standing there with her wedding dress on. I said, now, ma'am, he didn't want you in this life, and he ain't gonna want you like that in that life. I just said, but I get the significance, okay? Purity, when everything was all together, when everything was great, okay? At least they thought. And she was like, look at me. He was like, what are you talking about? I can't see. And then he started looking, and he was like, oh my God, I can see you, Barbara. And then he said, are you here to punish me? She said, baby, it ain't nothing left of you to punish. I said, oops. That made me chuckle a little bit, and I was sad at the same time because I just knew he was about to die. So she took his hand. He got up out that wheelchair. He started walking, and then they go back to 1980. Mind you, when we first started the episode, the season, it was 1981. Patrick and Gino was already together. You know, they were living in an apartment together. And this is what I'm talking about, the timeline and how fast we move. Because they're literally settled in. And it looked like when we first saw them in that first episode, they've been in that apartment for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Come to find out, we go to 1980. He was on a crime scene. Some guy, I guess, was high for PCP, had little angel wings on, thought that he could fly, and jumped out the window. You know, and he unfortunately died. And you had Gino, who was being a reporter, every bit of the investigative reporter, trying to get on the scene, trying to get some information. And Patrick was like, you need to get the fuck on, okay? And Barbara was like, this is when y'all first met. I said, oh my God. And it was Gino that was like, you know, for fellas like us. I said, excuse me? Me and Patrick said, wait a minute, sir, you can tell that I'm gay. He was like, yeah, bitch. Here, give me a call. I said, you know what, Gino? I like that little straightforwardness. I said, okay. You know, Patrick was a little stunned. He said, I said, Patrick, you still on the job? He said, yeah. Let me put that number down. I said, all right. Then it goes back to 1977, okay? So he had, 1977, I believe that was when him and what's her name? Him and Barbara got married. And he got called to a call scene or whatever the fuck. Him and his partner was on a crime at a bodega, and I guess somebody was trying to rob the bodega or whatever, and his partner, a black cop, wound up shooting this dude when he really didn't have to because Patrick already had him. And so we see them coming up into the police station, and the partner got blood all over him or whatever. And so the other big guy come up in there. He was like, just take him in the back and get him washed up or whatever. So he go back there with him. And of course, the partner is trying to convince himself that, you know, he did the right thing, right? And then Patrick was like, yeah, I would have did the same thing. And, you know, Barbara narrating was like, when actuality, you wouldn't have. Okay, that was a lie. The partner is in the shower, and then Patrick is telling him, make sure you get the behind your ear with the blood or whatever. And so Patrick was like, fuck it, let me show you. So he get up in there, and he start massage. I said, excuse me, this homoerotic shit, okay? I said, what y'all finna do? He just killed somebody and y'all finna fuck up in the goddamn shower? I said, huh? Barbara said, you know, you can be so tender with people when you want to. And next thing you know, they was like nose to nose, bitch. And then I said, oh, excuse me. And next thing you know, it was both of them. It was both of them because he had tried to kiss him first. And Patrick was like, wait a minute. But then they just said, fuck it, let's go ahead. And they probably would have fucked on up in the shower if old boy hadn't came through and said, what the fuck is going on? Girl, Patrick pushed old boy down, and he hit the back of his head on the shower thing. And it was like, this motherfucker tried to come on cut this F word, came on to me. I said, oh my God, you know, he got the man in trouble, okay? So then we move on from that, and then it was like, you know what, we gotta go. This is something that he would regret for the rest of his life, you know what I'm saying? He always regretted that moment. And then it goes back further to what made him want to be the cop and make him be the person that he is now. And we see him with his daddy. Of course, it always go back to fucking daddy issues. So his grandfather was a cop. His daddy was a cop. So, of course, he got to be a cop to prove to his daddy that he can be somebody. And he wasn't the F word, a sissy, or a limp wrist, you know, because that's what he kept on saying. He was out there in the woods trying to teach the boy how to shoot and pissed off that this young boy, you know, who's barely developed, couldn't hold the gun right and couldn't shoot the shit right. And I'm just sitting here like, you really, it's almost as if he expected him to get it right on the first try. I'm like, that's what we're here for, right? We're practicing. You didn't get it right on your first try, and don't say that you did. And every time he got it wrong, he was just getting more pissed off at him. And he just looked at him as he was weak. Baby, when he had to reload that gun and then he put it next to his ear, and shot it 3 times. I said, why the fuck would you do that? And gonna say something, look at you covering your ears like a girl. When we was out there in Japan or whatever doing World War II, baby, we ain't had no fucking headphones. We ain't had nothing to cover up the ears and all that whatever. We just took it. And I said, what? Mind you, he busted the boy's eardrum. Because once he put his hands down, his ears was bleeding. I said, you are something else. That is toxic masculinity, okay? And so you got that. And I believe that's when Gino, he just didn't realize. Gino came back up into the hospital, and we see him by Patrick's bed. And at this point, Patrick is like, he kept on saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And as soon as he started saying, I'm sorry, I said, bitch, this is it. This is it. And then I'm listening to the way that he's breathing. And I was just like, oh my God, he's about to die. And he was like, I just can't tell what's real anymore, because Barbara was still standing over him. And then he turned and he was looking over in her direction. And he was just breathing real crazy, like. He was breathing real crazy, like, and all of a sudden you looking at the monitor and it was beep, 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 beep. And I was like, oh my God. Girl. I don't give a fuck what y'all say, bitch. That did something to me, girl. Like I told y'all, I was already going through some shit before I watched this episode. And I'm sitting here like, I had to get myself together before I came on camera, because I was like, bitch, you can't come on here and cry. You can't come on here and cry. I said, that is sad. And the way that Gino was just up in there, and he wound up staying there till he left. They took his body out. We didn't see it, but we just saw the empty bed. And Gino took his robe and he was smelling it. And he put it in the bag. I said, oh my God. I feel for anybody who lost a loved one to this horrible disease back then. In the initial stages when they ain't know nothing. And it didn't even have to happen. Oh my God, that was episode 9, y'all. Let me go ahead and go watch this finale, because, baby, I really just hope it don't have me in my shits. Oh, it was another part. Barbara had took him to, next thing you know, he was up there digging in a body and trying to put it together. I said, what the fuck? So you mean to tell me he was working with Whiteley, because Whiteley came out and, was telling him, you need to go ahead and do this or whatever, because he was just like, I can't do this. This is so ugly. This is so nasty. And come to find out, it was just Barbara's way of saying, you have been butchered and you try to put yourself together. All the stuff that you go through, you went through that caused you pain. You just try to put yourself together, because then they put the head on the body and the head was actually Patrick's head. And I was like, oh, the symbolism is deep, okay? But yeah, that was episode 9, you guys. Y'all tell me how y'all feel about it, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.